Not that the bold and the beautiful doesn't recap itself more than enough in any given episode, but as the year draws to a close, Soapscom is doing the same thing and in a big way too. We're looking back at the last 12 months of plot twists and star turns, tying them up in a bow, and while we're at it, unwrapping a little peek at what 2026 holds in store. Care to join us? Let's dive in. We have a lot of ground to cover. Early in the year, Finn finally found out that he is indeed Luna's father, owing to a tryst with Aunt Poppy when he was in college. Naturally, Steffi refused to allow her soft-hearted husband to have anything to do with the pitch who'd murdered Tom and Holly's and locked her in a cage. Also naturally, Luna took the news poorly, so poorly that she infiltrated Hayes' summer art camp as Miss Sunshine, tied up his teacher Dylan, and lured Steffi to the beach house for a confrontation at gunpoint. While all that was going on, Liam was calling Dad Bill on the carpet for stupidly getting Luna pardoned for her crimes. There was both yelling and screaming until Bill walked away, and once he was gone, Liam collapsed. In the hospital, Grace broke the news that he had an inoperable brain tumor and not a whole lot longer to live. Liam, fearing that death would answer its door even if he didn't knock on it, set about trying to mend fences between his former wives, Steffi and Hope. Electra was still reeling from the posting of fake nudes of her on the internet when she discovered that her tormentor was none other than her trusted old friend, Ramai. After she discovered his stalker wall of pictures of her, they engaged in a mad chase across the streets of LA that only ended when Electra's boyfriend Will rode to her rescue and punched out Ramai. If she hadn't been smitten with Bill's son before this ordeal, and she was, this would have sealed the deal. Though Carter had upended his and Hope's lives by staging a coup at Forrester following her firing, for getting caught in a comically composing position with Finn, the company didn't remain under his control for long. Daphne was supposed to seduce him into returning the fashion house, but in the end she didn't need to. His guilty conscience prompted him to unstage the coup all on his own. In turn, Hope gave him the heave-ho, only to later accept his proposal of marriage. Say what now? During the coup, Ridge dumped Brooke for accepting the CEO position, even though she only did so to return Forrester to him. In mere seconds, he'd reunited with Taylor and even gotten engaged to her. But after his half-brother Nick returned to LA, romanced Brooke, and she nearly drowned in Italy, Ridge had a change of heart, broke up with Taylor, and married Brooke seconds after removing the engagement ring from his fiancée's finger. For some reason, the show had Thomas hit the roof over this and then just accept it. Odd. Of all people, Sheila tried to talk Luna into not killing Steffi at the beach house and lost another toe for her troubles. The smoke had barely cleared from that gunshot when Liam burst in to save the day. Luna didn't think he had the guts to fire at her, but believing he was dying, he pulled the trigger. Lee pronounced her granddaughter dead at the hospital, but in reality had her recovering at her secret apartment. Liam was shot too in the chest, but recovered in time to receive a miraculous and expensive treatment for his brain tumor courtesy of Grace. Once Luna awakened, the show revolved around her for ages. Despite being wanted by the authorities, she snuck out on her grannies Lee and Sheila, got Will super drunk at a party celebrating his promotion at Forrester, climbed into bed with him while wearing Electra's mask, and raped her unwitting victim. The following morning, Will was shocked to learn that he hadn't had sex with Electra, but not so shocked that he didn't do exactly that like a day later. As soon as Will and his family found out A, that Luna was alive, and B, that she'd assaulted him, they were ready to send her back to prison. Not so fast, said the schemer, who turned out to be pregnant. Yes, so fast, said the Spencers, who had her thrown back behind bars anyway. Bill and Katie would adopt the baby when it was born, and Luna would rot in her cell. Only it didn't happen that way. Luna miscarried and then was run down while on the lam, coincidentally, by Dylan, who then went around confessing to anyone who'd listen. As quickly as Deacon's son Deke returned to LA, he got hired to design for half-sister Hope's fashion line. It was a dream come true that quickly turned into a nightmare. At a bash welcoming Deke to the fold, he introduced his boyfriend, Ramai. Upon learning of his beau's past, Deke dumped him, and it didn't appear that Electra would forgive what Ramai had done or forget it anytime soon. Ridge and Brooke weren't the only couple to reconnect in 2025. After Liam and Hope discovered that he didn't have a brain tumor after all, Grace had scammed Bill, they decided not to waste another second apart. Reading the writing on the wall, Carter freed Hope from their engagement, and she ran off and got engaged to Liam. By the time they tied the knot in December, also back together were Bill and Katie. Putting up a united front as a family for Will had made them consider becoming reunited, period. Deacon was so mad that Sheila had kept it from him that Luna was alive that he was ready to file for divorce, until therapy with Taylor changed his mind. Still, the marriage was on shaky ground, considering the longing glances the doctor and her patient threw at one another. As for the crappiest thing Ridge did this year, that would have to be forcing Dad Eric out of his own company. Word to the wise, if you're thinking of throwing someone who doesn't want to be put out to pasture, a surprise retirement party just do. As the year headed toward the finish line, Katie accepted Bill's wedding gift of a fashion house of her very own. And since Thomas' return to Forrester had gotten Deke canned in record time, it was a pretty safe bet that Katie would soon to be joined in her new venture by niece Hope's half-brother. By and by, Hope might be persuaded to jump ship too. After all, it promised to be hella awkward for her, working alongside Thomas, to whom she'd been so drawn that she once strayed from Liam. Also on tap for 2026. Watch for Deacon and Sheila's marriage to implode as his feelings for Taylor intensify, and we'll discover whether Will is right and Dylan is unhoused or unhinged.